Hi, everyone. Wanted to pop on today and just give you a little more insight on who I am and why I am doing these messages of hope and renewal from Sophia, who is known as the feminine essence of the Holy Spirit and who's also known as the wisdom of ages. And how did I get called to do this and what brought me to this point? I want to give you a little more insight on me so that you can know that I am just like you, just a normal person who has an extraordinary calling and said yes to it. So, about 8 years ago, I was in a place where I was working at a high-end fitness center, and I have always been a fitness director most of my life, helping people lead healthy lives through diet and exercise, and also leading my staff and encouraging them as well. So that was most of my career. And then about 8 years ago, I got a really cool calling to start to do fascial stretch therapy. And all my details are in my book, so I'm not going to go over too much of those details. But long story short, I became a fascial stretch therapist. And once I started working on people, I started to notice them healing from deep emotional trauma. And so one of my clients suggested I get Reiki certified. And through these series of just crazy, miraculous events, I was learning to trust every guidance step that I was given because I was being called to do something bigger than just lead people in fitness for their body. So I went and I got Reiki certified through my Reiki master. Her name is Brenda, and she's real sweet and loving, and she taught me a lot. So after I became Reiki certified, I started to work with people doing not only the fascial stretch to release the body from trauma and tension and realigned either physical or emotionally, I started to do also spiritual work. So I connected to and just got out of the way. So my intention is to connect to the divine, to the highest good, God, source, or creator, and run that energy through my touch. We all have it. It's who we are. And I would put my hands on people and just kind of get out of the way and watch these miracles happen. So as I started to step into this unusual calling for me, for someone who is very sensitive about what people think about me and things like that, it was a huge step of faith and a huge calling that I kept hearing in my heart and in my meditations when I would sit in silence. And it was like, you will be called to led to do this. And I didn't know what it meant, but I just kept going forward. And as I went forward and just kept putting my hands on people and not knowing what was happening or just, asking for their highest good, I started to see these miraculous healings. And then pretty soon, it's not only were people getting connected to the heavenly realm and getting messages from past loved ones to help them heal, they were healing from traumatic brain injuries, from cancer, from severe depression, from alcoholism, from chronic pain. Like it was constant. Like when a person is ready and their spirit is willing to release the past, this beautiful healing comes through. And so I just am a guide, a conduit. I just guide people on breath work, on I put on soft music in my office so that their body relaxes. I am an intuitive, right? So I'm reading their body of all their trauma from their childhood and their emotions, and we're breathing in love for ourselves and we're releasing the trauma. So it's body work. It's counseling for the body. Is what I have been doing for 8 years or 9 years almost now. And so as I've been doing this and getting more intuitive and sitting every morning in my office, emptying myself of who I think I am on this earth and asking for divine guidance, divine insight, divine knowledge, divine wisdom on how to help people heal, not only on my own body, mind, and spirit, but also my clients and my friends and family. So I know this is my calling, this is my passion. So as I've been doing this, sitting in this silent meditation, I started to notice this beautiful shimmery spirit. Now, because I can read energy, I can see when different energies come in and I can read them. That's what I do for a living, whether it's in my office working with someone or also remotely working with someone. So after 8 years, you start to trust because your track record has been really well. So I just sat and saw this beautiful spirit in front of me, all shimmery and just beautiful. And I asked, "Who are you?" And I heard the name Sophia. And I said, "Who's Sophia?" So I did hear essence of the Holy Spirit. So I did hear that, but I didn't know. So after my meditation, I went to the internet and I looked up the name Sophia, and there it was. The feminine essence of the Holy Spirit, the wisdom of ages is what this spirit is called, and also connects heaven to earth. So it's this time of of connection, of remembering who we are. So this beautiful spirit, Sophia, the wisdom, comes and reminds us through these wisdom pieces of who we are. So as it was last February that I saw this beautiful spirit come through, and I started to get these really, really profound downloads. Now, I will tell you throughout my career, I always have channeled, or I don't even like the word channeled, I've always gotten messages from the divine and the body, and I'd help my clients heal. And it felt very intimate and very real and very, very helpful, right? They would get such great healings. Now I'm hearing it come straight in when I'm not even working on someone. And I started to journal these messages, not knowing what to do with them. So for 8 or 9 months, I'd just sit there and journal these messages, and I didn't know what to do with them. And I just filed them away. I think I have like 5 books of these messages. And it wasn't until about 3 weeks ago that I just kept, actually for about 4 months or 5 months, I kept hearing, you're going to do bigger group healings, you're going to lead a bigger audience. But I didn't know what that meant. And because I do this for a living, I was scared to let go of the practice I've built for 8 or 9 years. So as I am hearing these messages, not knowing what to do, about 3 weeks ago, I sat in my meditation and prayer time and I heard it again. You're called to do something bigger. And I'm like, okay, so what does that mean? So I reached out to my family and friends and I just said, hey, can you guys like intuit on this? Can you pray on this for me? I just don't know what this means. I don't know how to leave the current practice that I'm doing and go bigger. What does that mean? That day that I had that message in the morning, I had a beautiful woman come in for a treatment. And it was a beautiful 2 hour treatment and such a great healing, such a release of motion and also physical healing. At the end of 2 hours, she sat up and she was crying and she says, I want to thank you. I want to deeply thank you. And I said, no, it's okay. I do this for a living. I'm so used to it. I just do it. And I'm so glad you got healing. And she goes, no, I want to thank you. And as I looked at her eyes, I said to her, I said, holy cow, wait a minute. Either I'm talking to God or Jesus. I'm not quite sure. I said, but this is a message coming from somewhere bigger. And I told her to go over to my mirror and look at herself in the mirror. So she went over and she saw her eyes were just huge and bright blue and just shining this light. It's like when I looked at it into her eyes, I could look into infinity. I've never experienced that before, but I was looking at an infinite soul that was inside her. So she said, what is going on? And I said, I think you have a message for me. I said, come here, come here. And so we calmed each other down. Like I said, okay, let's take a deep breath. What do you want to tell me? And she said, this message wants to come through and tell you you are going to go bigger and you are on the right path. You are going to deliver a bigger message. Trust it, trust it. And I said, okay. And I kind of teared up and I cried and I said, that's the message I've been getting, but I didn't know what that means. And so I said, let me close my eyes and feel into this energy that is in you, this spirit. And I said, Sophia. And that's when she said she had been hearing the word Sophia, Sophia, Sophia all week long before she came to see me. And she wondered why the name Sophia was coming through her. And so she said, holy cow. She goes, I heard the name for Sophia. And now you tell me I'm giving you a message from the spirit named Sophia. And then we both were just shocked and amazed. And it sounds so out of the ordinary to tell this story because it was out of the ordinary. It actually rocked my world a bit, but I've had my world rocked many times with these mystical events that I told her, thank you so much. And I go, I feel like I don't know exactly what that means about going bigger, but I'm going to trust the message. So I said, thank you. And as soon as I said, thank you to Sophia, her eyes went back and she has brown eyes and it went back normal and that spirit left. So little did I know that that would be the beginning of all this, all that I've been doing on YouTube. So later on that day, after I finished my last client that day, I sat and I was like, what am I supposed to do? And I was intuitively drawn to my messages, my journals that I've been writing all year. So I opened up the journals and I was like, these are wisdom. This is wisdom. This isn't just me scribbling something during my meditation in the morning. Like each one was profound wisdom. So I started gathering them up and I felt the calling, the deep calling to go back on YouTube. Now I'd been on YouTube for about 3 years prior. 2 years prior, I was on YouTube for a while teaching about healing of the body and how the body and mind connect to the spirit. And so now I'm like, I think I'm supposed to go back on YouTube, but I thought my YouTube days were done. I thought I wrote a book. I thought I had done what I've been called to do. So I just sat in meditation and prayer the next day and said, is this what I'm supposed to do? And I heard a deep yes. And I thought, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. I also heard for the next 2 weeks, eat really healthy, get lots of rest, stay awake from alcohol. And on beginning of December, um, I will be giving you messages. And December 3rd and 4th, take those days off from work because I will have something for you to do. And I was like, well, that was weird. So I wrote in my journal and I even called my friends and I say, hey, something big's happening December 3rd and 4th. Well, not only was that the full moon, I believe, but which I didn't know at the time, but that was the time where I was delivering many of these messages, and they were profound and some were very hard to deliver. So as I started going to meditation more, now that I knew that this beautiful energy was here to teach me and us, I started to really write and I started to get these profound wisdoms. And as I started to write prophetic messages about how we're supposed to move into this age Aquarius and how to leave our limited thinking behind and how to um, transverse difficulties and heal the past. And all this wisdom was coming through, which I had gotten before. So it was like, but it was coming straight through like a stream of consciousness. But the thing that surprised me was on December 1st, I got a message about a great rift, and it came out of my pen. And I was like, what is this? And it freaked me out. And it was so profound. It was so detailed that afterwards I said, I have to go in tomorrow and ask again, did I hear this right? So I went in the next day on December 2nd and I heard the same message and I wrote it down. I was like, holy cow, it's coming again. And I said, I still need to check. And so then the December 3rd, I went in again and the same message came out and I heard loud and clear. And this was on December 3rd or 4th. You must post this. People must know. And I have always said and always felt that the future is created by the now. That's the message I've always gotten. And you cannot predict the future, is the message I've always gotten, because it's created by the now. And so even when I went in and asked, why are you giving me a date and a time of a great earth rift? That was confusing me and actually stressing me out very deeply. And I kept hearing them say, because the collective, which means all of us on a soul level, have decided that this time and this earth rift will continue to happen, and it will be on this timeline, this date that I was given. And so I heard loud and clear, go on YouTube and present this message. So I did. And more messages since have come through. Now I'm right now doing this on December 17th. And the message still keeps coming through like that. And with a lot of positive, a lot of how to walk into this new age of Aquarius, which is going to be a big consciousness shift for us, from going from lack of and not enough and fear to walking into who we truly are designed to be, where the heavens and the earth will join. And they've said this has never happened before. So this will take time. This evolutionary path will take time. So these are all the messages I'm getting along with an earth rift. And I have put on a very brave face. I have trusted what I've been getting, but I will tell you, as a human, it stresses me out to predict a date and time. That is not what I feel I want to do. But every time I go into meditation, I hear them say, trust me, trust me. And but they also say everyone needs to trust their own heart and soul, and your intuition, your guidance, and your knowing will lead you exactly where you need to go. So I have gone in so many times and asked them that they finally said, if this is causing you too much stress, we're going to stop delivering these messages through you. And I said, no, I want to do that. Okay. And then also they said, you are simply a delivery system. That's it. We never meant you to carry any of this burden upon yourself. We never meant for you to worry and stress. You are simply a delivery system. And so I started to take that slant and just be like, okay, I'm a delivery system. I'm just going to read these messages and trust that those who hear will hear. And if this great earth rift does not happen on the date that I have said in my videos and the dates that I'm hearing, then so be it. And I will cross that bridge when it comes. But friends and family have been sending me videos on other prophecies or prophetic people that have been saying that the earth rift is going to happen sometime in 2026. I have not opened YouTube I have not looked at anything in 2 months now because I cannot have any influence, any influential media in my mind or anything. So I've stayed really clear to hear clearly so I can deliver clearly for you. The other thing that they are doing is writing, dictating a book on this wisdom. It's a very beautiful book, a very detailed book on wisdom. And so I've been working on that every morning. I wake up at 4 in the morning and I do this for 2 hours before I start my work. Another thing that they're having me write is a quick guide to this wisdom. So lot of information is coming out about this. I'm going to actually start to offer classes to study, those who want to, those who align to this message, to study a little more deeply these wisdom messages coming through, because they are profound and I believe they are so beautiful. And I feel so incredibly honored to be the recipient to tell you these messages. But I will say, from a human standpoint, I am just a human and I am doing my best to be honest and open with you, to be transparent, to deliver a message of hope to you, and also to be a delivery system and just deliver the news. And it's not Kristen coming up with this. It's not like I'm trying to catastrophize anything. I am not that kind of person. I never have been. I've always been very positive, and I always only want to look at the positive. But for some reason, they've chosen me to deliver this message, and I'm going to do my best to keep going forward. But I do want you let you know, thank you so much for those who trust me, who are walking through this with me. And thank you so much for discerning for yourself your wisdom, what you need to know, what you trust in your heart, and where you're going to be guided. So with that being said, I'm going to finish up by saying there are a few dates to look at and to consider. They keep coming up with December 21st, which is the winter solstice. And that they said on that day, there's going to be powerful energies, the stars, the way that the planets are aligned. I don't know much about astrology, but this is what I'm hearing, that the energy will be here to help awaken those who align their heart to the desire of change. That's all you have to do, is be open to walking into something new. And they said, ask open-ended questions and we will meet you there. So on December 21st, if this message, if this way of moving into new consciousness, new expansion of who you are, bringing on the gifts of the spirit, if that is something your heart is desiring, then on December 21st, set the intention for what you want. And just have an open heart. And you don't need to know how could you? We have never been here before, is my big motto and what I keep hearing. And then just ask open-ended questions. How good can this get? Okay, that's December 21st. They keep telling me that in January, they told me yesterday morning that a lot of people will start to feel that life as they know it is different. It's going to start to be a deep knowing. Some will be so disturbed by that knowing they won't want to be here anymore, is what I'm hearing, and they will gently depart. Those who are feeling this rumbling, they'll just know something is changing, something's different. I also got the message that those who are intuitive and they're feeling, they can feel into things, they'll start to feel Mother Earth changing. And those who are intuitive will start to wake up to there's something grander coming on. And then in February is the time that I have heard the message of the Earth Rift. And you can go back and look at my YouTube videos. I don't want to sit there and harp on that because it's a sensitive subject, but I will say that's the time that I'm getting. I believe her name is Ann Tucker. She was an executive at Microsoft, got the same calling, I guess I did. And she has been on YouTube talking about this great Earth Rift for a while. She says something like this will happen in 2026. I hope we're both wrong. I don't know. I don't know why I'm getting these messages. If you knew me and you knew who I truly am, you would trust what I'm getting. But you don't. So a lot of you don't know me. So you have to trust in your intuition. You have to trust in your knowing in your own heart. And I will do my best to deliver what I'm hearing when I'm told to deliver. And again, I will let you guys know when I offer classes on those who want to go a little deeper, dive on this wisdom. And I'm also, and I'll let you know later, I'm also offering some very very, very, very inexpensive group healings for those who want to join on that. And here, my heart is here to help people walk into newness. And I do this for a living. This is my gift. This is my calling. So I hope in any way. If you just listen to my YouTube videos, great. If you go and you find something else to grow your soul, great. If you just go out in nature and enjoy life, great. They just keep saying, have love and gratitude as you move forward and watch the walls of disbelief and fear and anxiety and lack of and not enough wash away. Say love and gratitude. If anything, that's all you do, just be in love and gratitude for everything and watch how your life transforms. So I hope this gives you a little more insight on who I am and some more wisdom on the honesty of my heart, the sincerity of what I've been called to do. I am not I'm not trying to be anything but me. I am a delivery system. I am a normal human who has had an extraordinary life, but I do believe that we're all walking into this age where we are going to start to have a lot more extraordinary, beautiful gifts awakening within us. So thank you again and have a great day.